Now, for the last decade or so, a band of cyclists led by former Prime Minister Tony Abbott have raised money for charity by riding the back roads between South Australia and Victoria. It's called Polypedal, you may have heard of it. It brings together politicians from across the divide to face some well-deserved physical punishment, I must say, but also, of course, to raise money for good causes. Well, Shadow Treasurer Angus Taylor is part of the peloton, and he joins me now from Bowen in South Australia, good part of the world. I can see you're in the pub there, Angus, as well. That must be providing a couple of beers. That gets you a bit of energy to get back out on the bike tomorrow.
It does. It helps with the pain from sitting on a bike for 120 kilometres today, Caleb. Great to be with you, by the way. We're at the Borough Hotel, beautiful town here in rural South Australia. We came from Port Pirie today. We're riding just under 1,000 kilometres over the course of 8 days and raising money for the Wandering Warriors, which is a fantastic organisation that supports our Special Forces veterans as they get out into civilian life. And we've had the privilege of riding with a number of our Special Forces serving members, but also veterans. And what a fantastic group of people to be riding a bike with. They're pretty tough, I should say, Caleb. We ride pretty hard, so it's been some solid days in the saddle.
Good to hear it. If people want to support Wandering Warriors, where do they go?
They go to Polypedal. Just type in Polypedal into your search engine and up will come the options to support this wonderful ride. And you can pick your favourite rider. I'd love you to pick me. But you can pick your favourite rider and make a donation. So we really would appreciate any donations to this fantastic cause. One of the things we're helping to do is address some of the demonisation that's gone on with our Special Forces soldiers over recent times, and we're really wanting to push back on that. They've created a brilliant documentary called Bravery and Betrayal, and I really encourage people to see that if they can, because I think it deals with some of the issues that we've heard about in recent years.
Indeed, it's a great cause, and it's a great part of the world as well. If you can get out to Redbanks Conservation Park while you're there, do it. It's a great landscape up in that part of South Australia. On to the serious issues. I want to get your response to Anthony Albanese's address at the UN overnight. He's obviously used it to revive Australia's bid for a seat at the table of the Security Council, fair enough, but he's also used it to promote Labor's renewable energy agenda as a global opportunity. It's very different, of course, to what Donald Trump has been talking about. We've now got this meeting with Donald Trump. I mean, he's there saying how great and virtuous we are, but what about all the other nations?
Well, absolutely right, Caleb. Can I say, we do support getting a seat on the Security Council. Tony Abbott played a really important role with MH17 in pushing back on Russia through that Security Council seat. And this is one of the positive things that the UN does. There's a lot of things that I think are rightly subjected to criticism. But more generally on emissions, can I say that they have set targets for 2035 that are completely unrealistic. They're not on track to meet their 2030 targets. Emissions have barely moved since Labor came to power. I got prices down by 10% and emissions down by 10% in my time as Energy Minister. Chris Bowen is nowhere near achieving that. Prices are up, everyone knows that. Emissions have barely moved, less people know that. And now they're out spruiking their ambitions to the world. Well, what actually matters in energy policy is outcomes. That's what matters. People want to see lower prices, lower bills. They're not against lower emissions, but they want to see a more affordable energy system. And we certainly don't have that for households and small businesses since Labor's come to power.
Now, the other thing, of course, that's floating around at the moment is your Shadow Home Affairs Minister, Andrew Hastie, and, he hasn't been far from the headlines this week, I think you could say. Yesterday he sparked a backlash over warnings around high migration. Tony Burke, I showed earlier, has been quick to hit back. And he's pressing Labor's buttons on issues, there's no doubt about that. But in doing so, it's ignited all this speculation about leadership. And Hastie has said today that he backs Susan Lee, and as far as he's concerned, it's the end of the matter, and anyone else who says otherwise is mischievous. But does it not come across as though he were gunning for the leadership because he's actually saying something? And it doesn't seem like there's anyone else with any great policy platform to put forward at the moment in the Liberal Party.
Well, I disagree with that final point, Callum, because I am absolutely focused, and we as a party are focused on making sure we properly fund our defence forces. And that's an area which is dear to my heart. And I'm out with our serving officers and veterans this week because we need to make sure we have a properly funded military at a time when we face the most serious risk, the most dangerous environment since the Second World War. We've got a Chinese Communist Party that's militarising at an unprecedented rate. So it's important we keep, and I will keep making the point that that is a commitment we've made. We do have to have a sensible debate about migration in this country. There is no doubt that the level of migration has been too high, immigration has been too high on Labor's watch. That's relative to their own targets. They've failed to meet their own targets, Caleb. And this is an incredibly important point. We've just seen data come out in the last little while telling us they're not going to meet their targets for immigration for the last financial year. They were well above where they said they were going to be. So they have lost control of immigration. It is an important debate. This is a point we made in the last term and will continue to make it in this term as well. And as for Andrew, he's making an important contribution. I have no doubt he will continue to into the future as well.
So where's all this talk coming from then about leadership? I mean, there is disquiet within the party, isn't there?
Well, look, you're the commentator, Caleb, so I'll leave that to you. What I think is important is that we focus on the issues that matter to Australians. Energy bills that are too high. Labor going down the track of imposing new costs on our energy system, on energy for not just households, but for businesses. And we're going to see businesses leaving this country at a rapid rate if they continue to go down the track of these insane targets that they've set. We need to make sure that we've got an immigration policy in line with our housing policy so we're not driving up the cost of housing for young Australians. We need to make sure we have a properly funded defence force in this country. They are all issues that really matter to Australians, and it's crucial that we keep talking about those policies.
Of course, you know, people are talking about the leadership. The name they're using is Andrew Hastie. No one's mentioning your name, but of course you were the other person who ran for the leadership when Susan Lee got it. Are you feeling comfortable?
I'm feeling very comfortable because I'm going to continue to focus on the issues that matter to Australians, on getting their energy bills down, on making sure that we've got immigration levels in line with the housing that is being built in this country, on making sure we've got a defence force that's fit for purpose at this time, Caleb. And I think that's what Australians care about. And I'm going to continue talking about those important issues for all Australians.
All right, there you go. Angus, thank you. Go and have a beer for me, please.